Chakalpatagulyascha Kripasinduvyascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Mahamadanyaya Krishna Premapradaya Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namito Krishna Krishnam Bhaktarupasarupam Bhaktavataram Bhaktavam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagapati Gopin Bhakta Shri Radha Pranta Namaste Mamandir Matergati Mas Sarvaspadam Bhuja Shri Radha Madaram Mohanam Vidyadharanyam Kalpatumat Shrimaratnagar Simasanastha Shrimad Radha Shri Manaswara Shriman Rajasaram Bivam Shri Vatatarasita Karshan Sunev Katanchana Varangi Shri Radhe Vrindavani Shri Swami Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shivan Sadhguru Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Just give me 2 minutes time. Raji Prabhu, mute your phone, Prabhu. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm just touching my earphones. Ashok Prabhu, mute your phone. Chandra Prabhu, please make me the host so I can mute when they join. Is my voice audible? Because my this is I think it is
Yes.
it's in the center, I think. Okay. Today we'll be starting with the 10th chapter, very important chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, the opulence of Krishna. Vibhuti Yoga. So we completed Raja Vidya, Raja Kriya Yoga. 7th chapter, Jnana Vijnana Yoga, Akshara Brahma Yoga, 8th chapter. Then we saw Raja Vidya, Raja Kriya Yoga, and now Vibhuti Yoga. In all these 7th, 8th, and the 9th chapter, Krishna has emphasized on his opulence. Like in the 7th chapter, if you see, Krishna speaks about the external energy, or you can say the inferior energy or external energy. Krishna speaks about Jiva Shakti, his internal energy. That means Krishna is speaking about his opulence. If you see in the 8th chapter also, Krishna is speaking about his opulence. 9th chapter, Krishna is saying that I am everything. So now in this chapter, Krishna is going to elaborately explain about his opulence. It is generally said if a person's opulence is known, then you start respecting that person. Like in your house, your husband may be serving you by cleaning your fan and all those things. Generally, on Sundays, every wife takes this service from the husband. Please help me in cleaning the house. If that person's opulence is known, then even if he's cleaning, doing all the menial activities, he's appreciated. If it is not known, then the sweetness also cannot be understood. It is said to appreciate the sweetness, one should know the opulence. Now, Brahma, Shiva, everybody appreciates Krishna's opulence. They know Krishna's opulence. That is why they are able to appreciate Krishna's dealings with the Vrajavasis. It is not so easy to appreciate the sweet dealings of Krishna with the gopis of Vrindavan. Oh, Supreme Personality of God is dancing in the tunes of the gopis. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is carrying the chapel of Nanda Baba. So to appreciate the sweetness, the knowledge of the opulence is very important. The Vrajavasis, even if they desire to know about Krishna, Krishna's opulence, Krishna hides. Because Krishna wants to have sweet dealings with the Brajavasis, and he wants to prove to the whole world that I belong to the Brajavasis. There is no greater devotee than the Brajavasis. It is like Mame Kam Sharanam Braja, Krishna says. That is why this chapter is very important, so that one can understand the sweet dealings of the devotees with Krishna. The 9th chapter, Krishna has emphasized on bhakti. So bhakti is done by Aishwarya Jnana also. If Aishwarya Jnana is there, then Krishna's Madhurya Jnana or Madhurima can be understood. Sweetness can be understood. Or you can say appreciated. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhuya Eva Mahabaho Shuru Me Paramam Vachaha Yatte Ham Priyamanaya Vakshyami Hitakamyaya. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhuya Eva Mahabaho Shuru Me Paramam Vachaha Yatte Ham Priyamanaya Vakshyami Hitakamaya Kamyaya. See, 7th chapter also, Shunu. Open 7th chapter, first verse. 10th chapter also, the Shunu has come. Shunu. Hear. Hearing is the only process by which one can appreciate the opulence of Krishna, the sweetness of Krishna. Tat Shunu. And here what has come? Shunu me paramam vacha. Hear my words, Krishna says. Bhuya eva. Again I'm repeating, Krishna says. I'm going to repeat again this paramam vacha, the supreme instruction. So paramam vacha, which has been spoken in the 9th chapter. Rajavidya, Rajaguhya is a paramam, guhyatamam. That guhyatamam has been again been emphasized as paramam. Guhyatamam, paramam. So this paramam vacha, I'm repeating again, Krishna says. Again. Yatteham priyamanaya. Just by thinking, priyamanaya, you are very dear to me, Krishna says. You are my dear friend, priyamanaya. That is why I am speaking this, hitakamya, for your benefit, speaking this knowledge again, Krishna says. Again I am repeating this paramam jnanam, paramam vachaha, because you are very dear to me, priyamanaya. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Krishna says, you are my bhakta, you are my sakha. And now what Krishna says? You are my priyamana. See how nice Krishna talks to Arjuna. That is how a guru considers his disciple to be the most dear. Krishna is teaching there is a sambandha between the guru and the shishya. Guru gives the knowledge because the disciple is completely surrendered. Guru considers the disciple to be his own. Now Krishna is now enacting the role of a spiritual master. That is how Arjuna says that I have come under your shelter. Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava pruchhami tvam dharma sammoda cheta yashreyasya dishritam ruhitan me shishyasteham shadi mam tvam. Please accept me as your disciple. So Krishna has taken the role of the spiritual master. So Krishna says, I'm giving this knowledge because you are my priyamanaya. You are my bhakta, you are my sakha, and you are my most dear friend. That is why I am giving this, because I consider your benefit. I want to give you the topmost benefit. Vakshyami. This is Krishna. Ashok Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna. Bhuye eva mahabaha शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्ते अहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकामया।
हित नहीं, हिता, हिता, हित नहीं, हिता।
हित, फिर एक ही आ की मात्रा तो नहीं है?
हिता, तो is not half broken. हित काम्यया।
हित कामया, ओके।
हिता
वक्ष्यामि हित कामया।
काम्यया।
कामया, कामयया, अच्छा, या कामयया. It is to be pronounced like that, कामयया. Vakshyami hita kamyaya. Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained." Purport: The word Bhagavan is explained thus by Parashar Muni, one who is full in six opulences, who has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation, is Bhagwan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. While Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed all six opulences. Therefore, great sages like Parashara Muni have all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now Krishna is instructing Arjuna in more confidential knowledge of his opulences and his work. Previously, beginning with the 7th chapter, the Lord has already explained his different energies and how they are acting. Now in this chapter, he explains his specific opulences to Arjuna. In the previous chapter, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion in firm conviction. Again, in this chapter, he tells Arjuna about his manifestations and various opulences. The more one hears about the Supreme Lord, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. One should always hear about the Lord in the association of devotees. That will enhance one's devotional service. Discourses in the society of devotees can take place only amongst those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part in such discourses. The Lord clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear to him, for his benefit, such discourses are taking place. Hare Krishna.
All of us. Krishna is again giving this knowledge of opulence. The more we understand the opulence of Krishna, the power of Krishna, then it is actually for our benefit. Krishna says. Then Krishna says, what is the Paramam Vachaha? What is the topmost secret? Name vidu sunagana prabhavam na maharshayah aham adir hi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Name vidu suragana, these demigods, they never know me. They can never understand my origin. They say they can never understand my opulences. Na maharshaya, even the great sages also cannot understand. Why? Because aham adir hi devana. I am the origin. I am the origin of all the devatas. So when Krishna is the origin of devatas, how they will understand the origin of Krishna? How they can understand the opulence of Krishna? That is why Krishna says, I am their origin. I am their origin. Aham adiri devana. Maharshi namcha sarvasha. So Krishna is the source of the demigods and the sages. Krishna is the source. That is why he says, the demigods, the sages can never know me. What is the meaning of can never know me? They can never know my status. They can never know my opulences. Very clearly it has been said. Why? Because I am their origin, the first cause. So I am the cause of their appearance, Krishna says. Actually, I bestow the knowledge to them. I bestow intelligence to them. So actually, I give them the position also. Demigods get the position because of Krishna's mercy. That has been given here. So it is said, even the creation. So when devatas appeared after the creation, so how will they know the subject about the creation? They have come after the creation. So they will never understand. Maharshi Ram, even the sages cannot understand. I am the source for the sages also, and also I am the source for the demigods also. When we say here sages, the sages who are trying to understand Krishna by their Jnana Chakshu, it's not so easy. If Krishna bestows mercy, then a person can understand Krishna. It is not so easy to understand Krishna. Even Ananta Shesha says, my 1,000 hoods are not enough. Thousands and thousands of hoods are not enough to understand Krishna's glories. Because Krishna is Ananta, Krishna's fame, Krishna's yasha, Krishna's activities, everything is Ananta. Krishna Priya Mataji, read the verse.
Krishna Dandaprana. Name viduh suraganaha prabhavam na maharshayaha ahamadirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasaha. Translation. Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the sources of the demigods and sages. Purport. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord. No one is greater than him. He is the causes of all causes. Here it is also stated by the Lord personally that he is the causes of all the demigods and sages. Even the demigods and great sages cannot understand Krishna. They can understand neither his name nor his personality. So what is the position of the so-called scholars of their tiny planets? No one can understand why this Supreme God comes to earth as an ordinary human being and executes his wonderful, uncommon activities. One should know then that scholarship is not the qualification necessary to understand Krishna. Even the demigods and the great sages have tried to understand Krishna by their mental speculation, and they have failed to do so. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is clearly said that even the great demigods are not able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They can speculate to the limits of their imperfect senses and can reach the opposite conclusion of impersonalism, of something not manifested by the three qualities of material nature, or they can imagine something by mental speculation. But it is not possible to understand Krishna by such foolish speculation. Here the Lord indirectly says that if anyone wants to know the absolute truth, here I am present as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am the Supreme. One should know this. Although one cannot understand the inconceivable Lord who is personally present, he nonetheless exists. He can actually understand Krishna, who is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. Simply by studying his words in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. The conception of God as some ruling power as the impersonal Brahman can be reached by persons who are in the inferior energy of the Lord. But the personality of Godhead cannot be conceived unless one is in the transcendental position. Because most men cannot understand Krishna in his actual situation, out of his causeless mercy, he descends to show favor to such speculators. Yes, despite the Supreme Lord's uncommon activities, these speculators, due to contamination in the material energy, still think that the impersonal Brahman is the supreme. Only the devotees who are fully surrendered unto the Supreme Lord can understand. By the grace of the Supreme Personality, that is Krishna, the devotee of the Lord do not bother about the impersonal Brahman conception of God. Their faith and devotion bring them to surrender immediately unto the Supreme Lord. And out of the causeless mercy of Krishna, they can understand Krishna. No one else can understand him. So even great sages agree. What is Atma? What is the Supreme? It is he who have to worship. Hare Krishna.
So then Krishna says in the third verse, Yo mam ajam manadim cha viti loka maheshwaram asamura samarteshu sarva papai pramuchyate. Yo mam ajam manadim cha viti loka maheshwaram asamura samarteshu sarva papai pramuchyate. If you open 7th chapter 3rd verse and see 10th chapter 3rd verse, open 7th chapter 3rd verse. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatamapi siddhanam kaschinmam vitti tattvataha. Out of thousands of men, one will endeavor for the perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one will know me in truth. So what is the truth? That is given in this 10.3. 7.3, hardly one will know Krishna's truth. Then somebody can inquire, which truth? What is that he should be, what is the thing which he should know? Krishna says, he should know that I am Ajam, I am unborn. Even though I am born in Devaki's womb, from Devaki's womb, still I maintain this word Ajam. Even though he may appear. Now Janmashtami means Janma, this word Janma is only for Krishna. You don't say Ram Janma, no. You don't say Narsima Janma, Narsima Chaturdashi. You say Ram Navami, Varaha Dwadashi. We say that. We don't say Janma. Janma Shabd only, Janma word only is for Krishna. Janma Karma Chame Divyam Mevam Yovitti Tattvataha. 4th chapter. Tattvadeham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Sorjun. Krishna has emphasized this. This Janma word is only for Krishna. Though appears, but still he is Ajam. Ajam means unborn. This is the truth, which only out of 1,000 into 1,000. How many zeros are there? 6 zeros. 6 zeros means out of 10 lakhs, right? 10 lakhs. Yeah, 10 lakhs. Out of 10 lakh person, one will know. Thousands out of 1,000, one will try to achieve perfection. Among those thousands, again, there will be one person who will try to know the truth, or who will come to know the truth, Krishna has told. So then Krishna says, which truth he should know? He should know that I am unborn, Anadim, there is no beginning for me, and I am Mahaishwara, I am the Supreme Master. If these 3 things are known, I am Ajam, I have no beginning, Anadim, and I am Mahaishwara. If this 3 truth is known, then that person is Asamudha. He will never be in confusion. He will never be in bewilderment. Even though he may see me appearing from the womb of Devaki, still I maintain the status of Ajam. Sahamartyeshu sarva papa pramuchyate. So even though he may be born among the men, Marteshu, but still he is never deluded. This person is never deluded. Even if he's seeing Krishna being born among men, he is never in confusion. Sarva papai pramuchati. That is why he can be free from all the sins. That is what is given. Loka Maheshwaram. He is Lord of all the planets. And then Krishna is distinguishing him from Nitya Siddhas. We should not think that Krishna is one of the Nitya Siddhas. No. Krishna is as Maha Ishvara. That is why Maha Ishvara has been said. He is beginless. That means he is a Lord of even Brahma and Shiva. Let us go. So a person can become free from all the karmas just by knowing these three truths. Okay, Anubhava.
यो मां जं नादीं च वेत्ति लोकमहेश्वरम् असमूढं च मृत्येषु सर्वपापं प्रमुच्यते.
Chant after me. Yo mam ajam anadim cha.
यो मां
Mam
जनम
ajam anadim cha.
यो मां अजं
Ajam anadim cha.
अनादिं च
Vetti lokamaheshwaram.
वेत्ति लोकमहेश्वरम्
Asamudha samartyeshu.
असम्मूढः च
Cha.
मृत्ये
Where is cha? Sa.
सम्मूढः समृत्येषु
Martyeshu.
मृत्येषु
Martyeshu.
मृत्येषु
Where is Mru? Martyeshu.
मृत्येषु सम्मूढः
Martyeshu.
मर्त्येषु
Sarva papai pramuch.
सर्वपापे प्रमुच्यते.
Okay, read it. Ashok Prabhu is very happy if you read properly.
I practiced before, yeah, 2-3 times. Still, I made mistake. Who translation? He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds. He only, undiluted among men, is freed from all sins. Purport. As stated in 7th chapter 7.3, Manushayanam Sahasreshu
Kaschit yatati siddhayat.
Kashit Yatati Siddhye. Those who are trying to elevate themselves to the platform of spiritual realization are not ordinary men. They are superior to millions and millions of ordinary men who have no knowledge of spiritual realization, but out of those actually trying to understand their spiritual situation. One who can come to the understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the proprietor of everything, the unborn, is the most successful spiritually realized person. In that stage only, when one has fully understood Krishna's supreme position, can one be free completely from all sinful reactions. Here, the Lord is described by the word Aja, meaning unborn, but he is distinct from the living entities who are described in the second chapter as Aja. The Lord is different from the living entities who are taking birth and dying due to material attachment. The conditioned souls are changing their bodies, but his body is not changeable. Even when he comes to this material world, he comes as the same unborn. Therefore, in the fourth chapter, it is said that the Lord, by the internal potency, is not under the inferior material energy, but is always in the superior energy. In this verse, the word Veti Loka Maheshwaram indicates that one should know that Lord Krishna is the supreme proprietor of the planetary system of the universe. He was existing before the creation and he was different from this creation, his creation. All the demigods were created within this material world. But as far as Krishna is concerned, it is said that he is not created. He is not created. Therefore, Krishna is different even from the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva. And because he is a creator of Brahma, Shiva, and all the other demigods, he is the supreme person of all planets. Sri Krishna is therefore different from everything that is created, and anyone who knows him as such immediately becomes liberated from all sinful reactions. One must be liberated from all sinful activities to be in the knowledge of Supreme Lord. Only by devotional service can he be known and not by any other means as stated in Bhagavad Gita. One should not try to understand Krishna as a human being. As stated previously, only a foolish person thinks him to be a human being. This is again expressed here in a different way. A man who is not foolish, who is intelligent enough to understand the constitutional position of the Godhead, is always free from all sinful reactions. If Krishna is known as the son of Devaki, then how can he be unborn? That is also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. When he appeared before Devaki and Vasudeva, he was not born as an ordinary child. He appeared in his original form and then he transformed himself into an ordinary child. Anything done under the direction of Krishna is transcendental. It cannot be contaminated by material reactions, which may be auspicious or inauspicious. The conception that there are things auspicious and inauspicious in the material world is more or less a mental concoction because there is nothing auspicious in the material world. Everything is inauspicious because the very material nature is inauspicious. We simply imagine it to be the auspicious. Real auspiciousness depends on activities in Krishna consciousness in full devotion and service. Therefore, if we all want our activities to be auspicious, then we should work under the direction of Supreme Lord. Such direction are given in authoritative scriptures such as Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita or from a bona fide spiritual master. Because the spiritual master is the representative of the Supreme Lord, his direction is directly the direction of the Supreme Lord. The, the spiritual master, saintly person, and the scriptures direct in the same way. There is no contradiction in these three sources. All actions done under such direction and free from the reactions of pious or impious activities of this material world. The transcendental attitude of the devotee is the performance of activities is actually that of renunciation, and this is called sannyasa. As stated in the first verse of the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, one who acts as a matter of duty because he has been ordered to do so by the Supreme Lord and who does not seek shelter in the fruits of his activities, anasritha,
Anashita karma phalam.
karma phalam, is a true renunciator. Everyone acting under the direction of the Supreme Lord is actually a sannyasi and a yogi, and not the man who has simply taken the dress of sannyasi or a shiodo yogi.
Okay. Krishna
Aditya.
very, Srila Prabhupada very clearly says, pseudo yogis and the sannyasis, they just taken the dress of a sannyasi. Sannyas is our mental strength actually. What is the meaning of sannyas? In the search of absolute truth, giving up material propensity. It is a state of mind. Sannyas, satnyas. A grahastha also can be a sannyasi. If he has no attachment for the material things, then he's also a sannyasi. So sannyas is a state of mind. Sat means in the search of absolute truth. Nyas means to give up material propensity. So we saw the parinishta devotees. They are just doing their activities as a matter of duty to teach others, to set an example, to guide the dependents. But their mental strength or state of mind is equal to Nirapeksha devotees. So this is very important. So here Krishna says to such people who knows that I am Ajam, I am the source, I am Maheshwara. For that person, I will free him from all the papa. That means I will free him from this birth and death cycle. Now Krishna says in 4th verse and the 5th verse that intelligence, everything flows from me. Whatever qualifications are there, everything flows from Krishna. Buddhir-jnanam asammoha shama satyam dama shama sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo bhayam chabhyam evacha bhayam chabhayam evacha ahimsa samata tushtis tapodanam yasho yashah
Bhavanti.
yasho yashah bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva pratak vidah. So buddhir-jnanam asammoha shama satyam dama shama sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo bhayam cha bhayam evacha ahimsa samata tushtis tapodanam yasho yashah bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva pratak vidah. Krishna says mattah evam pratak vidah. Mattah means from me. This word is very important. Mattah. From Krishna, everything comes. What comes? Intelligence. Buddhi. What is the meaning of buddhi? Application of the knowledge is buddhi. Application of the knowledge is buddhi. So what is the next word? Jnanam. So what is jnanam? Understanding the distinction between sat, asat. Spirit, matter. And controller of spirit and matter. Then only one can apply this knowledge. Buddhi. Knowledge. Jnanam. Then Krishna says, asammoha. I'll free him from all the confusion. Then Krishna says, I give shama, I give tolerance. Satyam, I make him speak the truth which is beneficial for others. Sense control. Dhamma, sense control. So I restrict him or I give the tolerance in his senses to keep that senses away from sense objects. So I restrain the senses such as the ear so that it can restrain itself from sense objects. So Dhamma, that is also given by Krishna. Shama, controlling the mind. Dhamma means controlling the senses. Shama means controlling the mind. I give that also. I only give in mind control. So somebody cannot say, I do so much of pranayam, that is why I can control my mind and senses. You can do lots and lots of pranayam, but if Krishna Kripa is not there, it is impossible to control mind and senses. So Krishna gives this mind control also. Pleasure. Krishna says, Sukha. What is the meaning of Sukha? Something you get which is favorable or which you wanted, which is very favorable. I give that Sukha. Dukha, something which is unfavorable. That is also coming from me only, Krishna says. Sukha also comes from me, Dukha also comes from me. Pleasure and pain. Something which is coming as per our expectation. But then Krishna says, I am the one who is the permitter. And something we don't expect, it comes, we don't want that. Then Krishna says, even that also I only give, whether you want it or not. Then Krishna says, pain, I only give, that is dukkha. Then Krishna says, bhava, that means birth, I only give the birth. Abhava, I give the mrityu, that is death. Abhava. Bhaya, I give the fear. What is the meaning of fear? Thinking about something which is going to be the future cause of suffering. Isn't it? Bhaya. It has yet not happened, but just to imagine, something is going to happen in future because of which I am going to suffer. Immediately there is a fear. Then I only give abhaya. Abhaya charana arvinda. Atyana Sai Prabhupada. Abhaya. I give the fearlessness. Ahimsa. I give that quality of not giving pain to others. Ahimsa. Then samata. Somebody is not having this attraction also, repulsion also. He is in equanimity. Krishna says, I only give that quality, equanimity. Then tushti. Tushti means being satisfied according to whatever a person gets according to his karma. So he is satisfied. Tushti. Then Krishna says tapa. So tapa. Voluntarily accepting trouble to the body. Tapasya. Voluntarily. He could have slept peacefully. Voluntary devotees wake up 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. For what purpose? They could peacefully sleep till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Is Prabhupada holding a stick behind? No. But devotees do tapasya. Jnanis do tapasya. Yogis do tapasya. Voluntarily accepting the difficulties. Tapas. Then dana. Giving one's enjoyable item to a qualified person. Understand the word dana. Not that you don't want to eat something or you don't want that, then you dump it in the temple. Like sometimes old cupboards come in our temple. We want to do dhanam. Then we see that the cupboards cannot be closed properly. It is rusted. That is not called dhanam. You don't have any dustbin to put. You found a temple to be a dustbin. Then you give what you don't want. So no, giving one's favorable thing or a favorite thing to a qualified person, not to an unqualified person. Some drunkard is coming and asking you some dhanam, some charity, and you give something, ek rupya de, then you put 10 rupees and say, I did dhanam. He's unqualified. with your money is going to drink more. So giving once a favorable item to a qualified person, that is dana. And then comes yasha. Yasha. Somebody has very wonderful qualities, good qualities. He's known for that. Krishna gives that yash also. Ayasha, opposite. Somebody is defamed. That Krishna says, I only give. So all such states of living entities, bhava, with differing qualities, prutak pitaha. Everybody has different qualities. Somebody is very intelligent. Somebody is born, somebody is dead. Somebody is very famous, somebody is not famous. Everything in different status, Krishna says, I am the one who gives. I alone is the cause. So the purport is very huge. We can read. Narayan Prabhu, read. Narayan Damodar, read. Narayana, where are you? You should say, huh? Read.
बुद्धिर्ज्ञानम् असम्मोहः क्षमा सत्यं दमः शमः सुखं भवो भावो भयं चाभयमेव च अहिंसा समता तुष्टिस्तपोदानं यशो यशः भवन्ति भावा भूतानां मत्त एव पृथग्विधाः. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The different qualities of living entities, be they good or bad, are all created by Krishna, and they are described here. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective, and knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. Ordinary knowledge obtained by a university education pertains only to matter, and it is not accepted here as knowledge. Knowledge means knowing the distinction between the spirit and matter. In modern education, there is no knowledge about spirit. They are simply taking care of the material elements and bodily needs. Therefore, academic knowledge is not complete. Asammoha, freedom from doubt and delusion, can be achieved when one is not hesitant and when he understands the transcendental philosophy. Slowly but surely, he becomes free from bewilderment. Nothing should be accepted blindly. Everything should be accepted with care and with caution. Shama, tolerance and forgiveness should be practiced. One should be tolerant and excuse the minor offenses of others. Satyam, truthfulness, means that facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misrepresented. According to social conventions, it is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others. But that is not truthfulness. The truth should be spoken in a straightforward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief and if people are warned that he is a thief, that is truth. Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the facts be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That is the definition of truth. Control of the senses means that the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. There is no prohibition against meeting the proper needs of the senses, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. Therefore, the senses should be restrained from unnecessary use. Similarly, one should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts, that is called shama. One should not spend one's time pondering over earning money. That is misuse of the thinking power. The mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human beings, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons who are authorities in the scriptures, saintly persons, and spiritual masters, and those whose thinking is highly developed. Sukham, pleasure or happiness, should always be in that which is favorable for the cultivation of the spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And similarly, that which is painful or which causes distress in that which is unfavorable for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Anything favorable for the development of Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and anything unfavorable should be rejected.
Okay, stop here. So here, whatever favorable, except unfavorable, reject. Okay, Vandana Mataji, read from here.
Hare Krishna. Bhava, birth should be understood to refer to body. As far as the
Bhava,
soul is
Bhava.
Bhava, birth should be understood to refer to the body. As far as the soul is concerned, there is neither birth nor death. That we have discussed in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Birth and death apply to one's embodiment in the material world. Fear is due to worrying about the future. A person in Krishna consciousness has no fear because his activities, he is sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, his future is very bright. Others, however, do not know what their future holds. They have no knowledge of what the next life holds. So they are therefore in constant anxiety. If we want to get free from anxiety, then the best course is to understand Krishna and be situated always in Krishna consciousness. In that way, we will be free from all fear. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.37, it is stated,
Bhayam Ditya Biniveshatah Syat.
fear is caused by our absorption in illusory energy. But those who are free from illusory energy, those who are confident that they are not material body, that they are spiritual part of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who are therefore engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Godhead, have nothing to fear. Their future is very bright. This fear is a condition of person who are not in Krishna consciousness. Abhayam, fearlessness, is possible only for one in Krishna consciousness. Ahims, ahimsa,
Ahimsa.
ahimsa. Ahimsa, non-violence, means that one should not do anything which will put others in the misery or confusion. Material activities that are promised by so many politicians, sociologists, philanthropists, etc., do not produce very good result because the politician and the philanthropists have no transcendental vision. They do not know what is actually beneficial for human society. Ahimsa means that the person should be trained in such a way that the full utilization of the human body can be achieved. The human body is meant for spiritual realization. So any movement or any commissions which do not further the end,
That
that
end,
end commits violence on the human body. That which furthers the future spiritual happiness of the people in general is called non-violence. Samanta, equanimity refers to freedom from attachment and aversion. To be very much attached to or to be very much detached is not the best. This material world should be accepted without attachment or aversion. That which is favorable for prosecuting Krishna consciousness should be accepted. That which is unfavorable should be rejected. This is called samatha, equanimity. A person in Krishna consciousness has nothing to reject and nothing to accept, save in the terms of its usefulness in the prosecution of Krishna consciousness.
okay, wait. Samatha, being equipoised. Okay. Krishna Dharma Prabhu, read from here. Krishti. Krishna Dharma Prabhu.
Yes, Mother.
All of you keep your videos on. How will I know you're sleeping or you're awake or what it is?
Samatha equanimity refers to freedom from attachment and aversion. To be very much attached or to be very much detached is not the best. This material world should be accepted without attachment or aversion. That which is favorable for prosecuting Krishna consciousness should be accepted, that which is unfavorable should be rejected. That is called samatha equanimity. A person in Krishna consciousness has nothing to reject or nothing to accept, save in terms of its usefulness in the prosecution of Krishna consciousness. Tushti, satisfaction, means that one should not be eager to gather more and more material goods by unnecessary activity. One should be satisfied with whatever is obtained by the grace of the Supreme Lord. That is called satisfaction. Tapas means austerity or penance. There are many rules and regulations in the Vedas which apply here, like rising early in the morning and taking a bath. Sometimes it is very troublesome to rise early in the morning, but whatever voluntary trouble one may suffer in this way is called penance. Similarly, there are prescriptions for fasting on certain days of the month. One may not be inclined to practice such fasting, but because of his determination to make advancement in the science of Krishna consciousness, he should accept such bodily troubles when they are recommended. However, one should not fast unnecessarily or against Vedic injunctions. One should not fast for some political purpose that is described in the Bhagavad Gita as fasting in ignorance. And anything done in ignorance or passion does not lead to spiritual advancement. Everything done in the mode of goodness does advance one. However, and fasting done in terms of Vedic injunctions enriches one in spiritual knowledge. As far as charity is concerned, one should give 50% of his earnings to some good cause. And what is a good cause? It is that which is conducted in terms of Krishna consciousness. That is not only a good cause, but the best cause. Because Krishna is good, his cause is also good. Thus, charity should be given to a person who is engaged in Krishna consciousness. According to the Vedic literature, it is enjoined that charity should be given to the Brahmanas. This practice is still followed, although not very nicely in terms of Vedic injunction, but still the injunction is that charity should be given to the Brahmanas. Why? Because they are engaged in higher cultivation of spiritual knowledge. A Brahmana is supposed to devote his whole life to understanding Brahman. Brahmajanati Brahmanaha. One who knows Brahman is called a Brahmana. Thus, charity is offered to the Brahmanas because they are always engaged in higher spiritual service and have no time to earn their livelihood. In the Vedic literature, charity is also to be awarded to one in renounced order of life, the sannyasi. Sannyasis beg from door to door, not for money, but for missionary purposes. The system is that they go from door to door to awaken the householders from the slumber of ignorance. Because the householders are engaged in family affairs and have forgotten their actual purpose in life, awakening their Krishna consciousness. It is the business of the sannyasis to go as beggars to the householders and encourage them to be Krishna conscious. As it is said in the Vedas, one should awake and achieve what is due him in this human form of life. This knowledge and method is distributed by the sannyasis. Hence, charity is to be given to the renouncer of life, to the brahmanas, and similar good causes, not to any whimsical cause. Yashas, fame should be according to Lord Chaitanya, who said that a man is famous when he is known as a great devotee. That is a real fame. If one has become a great man in Krishna consciousness and it is known, then he is truly famous. One who does not have such fame is infamous. All these qualities are manifest throughout the universe in human society and in the society of the demigods. There are many forms of humanity on other planets, and these qualities are there. Now, for one who wants to advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna creates all these qualities, but the person develops them himself from within. One who engages in devotional service of the Supreme Lord develops all the good qualities as arranged by the Supreme Lord. Of whatever we find, good or bad, the origin is Krishna. Nothing can manifest itself in this material world which is not in Krishna. That is knowledge. Although we know that things are differently situated, we should realize that everything flows from Krishna.
See how Prabhupada gives the description of fame in fame. Famous is one who is in Krishna consciousness. One who is not in Krishna consciousness, though he may be materially advanced, he is not famous. So in this way, Prabhupada says, what is favorable, what is unfavorable. Whatever favorable for devotional service, that is sukha. What is unfavorable for devotional service, that is dukha. So Prabhupada is giving a wonderful spiritual explanation. Everything connected, because everything is coming from Krishna. So naturally, nothing is material. So sukha, dukha, actually, if you see, it should be understood in relationship to Krishna. If somebody thinks, oh, I don't have a house to stay, I don't have a nice, wonderful car, I don't have a good wife. So for him, that is dukha. He must have lost somebody. He's not married, or he must have been married, but he's troubled by his wife or husband, whatever. So he may think that is dukha. Somebody can say this is sukha. But when it is coming from Krishna, naturally, Krishna is not interested in any material things. That is our perception. Whatever favorable in Krishna consciousness, that is sukha. Whatever unfavorable, like my health is not good, I'm not able to wake up early in the morning, so then that is dukha. Why? Such conditions are not allowing me to serve Krishna. Oh, sukha and dukha, because here, you should understand very nicely, dualities has been given. And Krishna consciousness is free from dualities. So when dualities are given, that is in relationship to Krishna. Now Janma Mrityu is given. What is Janma? Getting an opportunity to serve. What is Mrityu? Giving up one's body and is going to take another body for serving Krishna. For a devotee, there is no death. So matter seems to die, but matter is also eternal. The form is gone, but the Jivatma is eternal. So in this way, even though there may be Mama Janmani Janmani Ishwari, Bhavatat Bhakti Rahityukidvai. So that is why purport given why devotee should be read, because Krishna says everything comes from me. So these dualities are also serving Krishna. You should understand it very nicely. Now Krishna is giving his opulence, isn't it? Krishna says, Devi Devatas come from me. Rishis come from me. All these wonderful qualities, they also come from me. Then Krishna says, 4 Kumaras come from me. Saptarishis come from me. 14 Manus, they come from me. Their descendants also come from me. Maharshaya Sapta Purve Chatvaro Manavastata मद्भावा मानसा जाता येषां लोक इमा प्रजाः. Maharshi, the great sages, 7 great sages. Who are the 7 sages? Starts from Bhrugu, Marichi, Atri, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Vashishta. You can write 7 sages, Saptarishis. We should actually know the names of the Saptarishis. Bhrugu, Marichi, Atri, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Vashishta. So Saptarishis, they come from my mind. Before them, 4 Kumaras have come. Salat, Salatan, Salandan, Salat Kumari. 4 Kumaras. Then 14 Manus. They also came from my mind. And Maharshaya Sapta Purve Chatvaro Manavastata Madhava Manasaha Chata Yesham Loka Ima Praja. So in this way, even their descendants also, they come from me, Krishna says. Though they come from them, but actually the main come from Krishna only. Na? Manus also come from Krishna. All the living beings populating the various planets, they're descending from the Manus. But technically, Krishna is the one who is the source of everything. Okay, read the purport. Who will read this verse? Manoja, Prabhu, read the verse. Translation purport.
Maharshaya Saptapurve Chatvaro Manavastata Madhava Manasajata Esam Loka Prajaha. The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages, and the Manus come from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. Purport. The Lord is giving a genealogical synopsis of the universal population. Brahma is the original creature born out of the energy of the Supreme Lord, who is known as Hiranyagarbha. And from Brahma, all the 7 great sages, and before them 4 other great sages named Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara, and the 14 Manus are manifested. All these 25 great sages are known as the patriarchs of the living entities all over the universe. There are innumerable universes and innumerable planets within each universe, and each planet is full of population of different varieties. All of them are born of these 25 patriarchs. Brahma underwent penance for 1,000 years of the demigods before he realized by the grace of Krishna how to. Then from Brahma came Sanata, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara. Then Rudra, and then the 7 sages. And in this way, all the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are born out of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma is known as Pitamaha, the grandfather, and Krishna is known as Prapitamaha, the father of the grandfather. That is stated in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 11.30.
7th one. So Krishna says, one who knows these 25 sages, 7, 4, 14, 25. 8, and then the descendants of them, population. Etam vibhuti yogam cha mama yo vetti tattvataha so vikalpena yogena punyate natra samshayah. Etam vibhuti yogam cha mama yo vetti tattvataha so vikalpena yogena yuchyate natra samshayah. Don't doubt, Krishna says. Don't have any doubt about my opulence. Yesham vibhuti yogam. My opulence and mystic power. Don't have any doubt. Krishna says, he who knows my vibhuti, who knows my qualities, Vyakti Tattvataha, and who has accepted this as the highest truth. Yes, Krishna saw. It is Krishna who is giving everything to us. And it's Krishna who is the creator. Krishna is the source for everything. One who knows this highest truth. Savikalpena yogena. He becomes fixed. Savikalpena. Avikalpena. With no division. He is fixed up in devotional service. Yogena. Yuchyate. Yogena yuchyate. Yuchyate. Yoga word comes from the word yuj. Yuj means to connect. How he is connecting himself with Krishna? By devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt, Krishna says. So a person who knows my truth becomes fixed up in devotional service, and in this, there is no doubt. So, knowing the opulence of Krishna gives a person a steadiness in devotional service. One who knows that Krishna, Ishavasamidam sarvam, yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Ishavasamidam sarvam, everything belongs to Krishna. Tena tektena bhunjita. Whatever is somebody's share, Krishna gives it. But Krishna is the owner of everything. Ishavasamidam sarvam. Second verse of Ishopanishad speaks about it. Everything belongs to Krishna. Krishna is the source of everything. He is a creator, maintainer, destroyer. It is Krishna who has given us 7 rishis, 4 manus, 14 manus, 4 kumaras. It's Krishna who has given us Narada. Krishna creates Brahma, and from Brahma's ears, Brahma's navel, all the Saptarishis are born. So naturally, Krishna is the one who creates Brahma first. Who is Brahma? Qualitative incarnation. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. They are Guna avatars. So in this way, Krishna says, one who knows this truth is free from all the sins, first thing. And also, he performs undeviated devotional service. Ansruti Prabhu, read the verse.
Hare Krishna. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mam yoveti tattvata so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra sanshaya. Translation also, Mother. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The highest summit of spiritual perfection is knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unless one is firmly convinced of the different opulences of the Supreme Lord, he cannot engage in devotional service. Generally, people know that God is great, but they do not know in detail how God is great. Here are the details. If one knows factually how God is great, then naturally he becomes a surrendered soul and engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord. When one factually knows the opulences of the Supreme, there is no alternative but to surrender to Him. This factual knowledge can be known from the descriptions in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and similar literatures. In the administration of this universe, there are many demigods distributed throughout the planetary system, and the chief of them are Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the 4 Kumaras and the other patriarchs. There are many forefathers of the population of the universe, and all of them are born of the Supreme Lord Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the original forefather of all forefathers. These are some same opulences of the Supreme Lord when one is firmly convinced of them. He accepts Krishna with great faith and without any doubt.
and he engages in devotional service, all this particular knowledge is required in order to increase one's interest in loving devotional service to the Lord. One should not neglect to understand fully how great Krishna is, for by knowing the greatness of Krishna, one will be able to be fixed in the sincere devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Now, 8th verse, 8, 9, 10, 11. They are Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. Most important verses. 10.8, 9, 10, 11. If you know these 4 verses, that means you know the whole Bhagavad Gita. The whole Bhagavad Gita is summarized in these 4 verses. Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. Let us see. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam uta bhava samanditaha. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam uta bhava samanditaha. Aham, I, Krishna says, sarvasya prabhavo. I am the source of generation. That means I am the source for everything, material, spiritual world. Mattaha sarvam pravartate. Everything emanates from Krishna. Whoever knows this, iti matva bhajante mam. Whoever knows this and performs devotional service, that person is buddha, is a learned person. Bhava samanvitaha. With great attention, he is serving Krishna. With a complete understanding, Krishna is the source of everything. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Again, Ishopanishad, first invocation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Every day one should chant this verse to understand how Krishna is Purnam, he is complete. Adaha, Om Purnamada, that is complete, this is complete. Krishna says, I am the source of everything. That and this. That is spiritual world and material world. Everything emanates from Krishna. Even after emanating also, Krishna is Purnam. Whatever emanated is also Purnam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate. Whatever emanates from him is Purnam. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Whatever is left, Purnamevavashishyate. After removing, whatever is left is also Purnam. That means even if everything emanates from Krishna, the things which are emanated is also Purnam. Krishna is also Purnam. That is power of Krishna. And the wise, Buddha, they know this. Because they know this, Krishna says, they can perform devotional service very nicely. So understanding that Krishna is the source of everything, Krishna is the controller, Krishna is the master, then he can perform devotional service nicely. Because there is not a tinge of enviousness in the heart of the person. Enviousness comes because of the competitive attitude. Why should you be the controller? I also should have. Why should you be the enjoyer? I should also enjoy. Because he knows Krishna is enjoyer, Krishna is a controller. So even that small tinge of enjoyment, enjoying the matter, is not there. That is why he can perform devotional service very nicely. He understands his constitutional position. He knows that the matter belongs to Krishna, body belongs to Krishna, soul belongs to Krishna. Because somebody can ask, how is that this knowledge makes a person perform devotional service nicely? Just because he knows Krishna is a controller of matter and spirit. When you say material world, spiritual world, that can be also understood as matter and spirit. Spirit is always there in the spiritual world. Because of this tendency of enjoying and controlling, the spirit has to come from the spiritual world. The consciousness of the spirit from the spiritual world falls down and becomes conditioned. Okay. Vishwambar Prabhu, read.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी। अहं सर्वस्य प्रभो मतः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भाव समन्विताः। I am the source of all spiritual and material.
Buddha Bhava. Bhava is full. You told Bhav, that is why you could not complete properly. Buddha Bhava Samanvitaha.
Bhava Samanvitaः.
Vitaha.
Samanvitaः. Samanvitaः.
Why you say tah? Taha.
Samanvitaः.
Taha.
Taः.
Huh? Taha.
Taः. Bhav Samanvitaः.
I'll give you nice laddus now, so that you can open your mouth and say Taha. Okay, read it.
I am the source of all spiritual and material and words. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly knows it engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their heart. Purpose. A learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya and who knows how to apply this teaching can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and spiritual world. And because he knows this perfectly, he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentary by schools. All Vedic literature agrees that Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods. In the Atharva Veda, Gopala Tapani Upanishad 1.24, it is said, Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedam Cha Gapyati Ma Krishna. It was Krishna who, in the beginning, instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. Then again the Narayan Upanishad 1 says, Atha Puruso Ha Vai Narayano Kamayata Praja Srijayati. Then the Supreme Personality Narayan desired to create living entities. The Upanishad continues. Narayana Brahma Jayate Narayana Prajapati Prajayate Narayana Indro Jayate Narayana Asto Vasau Jayante Narayana Ekadash Rudra Jayante Narayana Dvadasaditya. From Narayan Brahma is born, and from Narayan the patriarchs are born. From Narayan Indra is born. From Narayan the 8 Vasus are born.
Vasus.
From Vasus.
Va.
8 Vasus. 8 Vasus are born. From Narayan the 11 Rudras are born. From Narayan, the 12 Adityas are born. This Narayan is an expansion of Krishna. It is said in the same Vedas, Brahmanyo, Devaki
Here,
Putra.
when I'll just stop little. When the Adityas has said, there is a shloka Aditya Hridayam. Aditya Hridayam is given by sage Agastya to Prabhu Ram to conquer over Ravana. So when we say Aditya, immediately you should not look at your sun. Sun is only a planet. There are 12 Adityas. Krishna is the source of Aditya. It is also called sun only. Adityas are sun only, but not the sun of the material world. Understand very nicely. These Adityas, they govern the material sun. It's 12 Adityas. They are born from Narayana. So Narayana is a source for Adityas. If you see Madan Mohan temple in Vrindavan, there is a nice story. Krishna, when he fought with Kalia, he was in the water. Krishna got cold. So when he had cold, these 12 Adityas, they come and they give proper heat to Krishna. That means these 12 Adityas, they are serving Krishna. Whenever Krishna requires little heat, then these 12 Adityas, they provide heat. They are serving Krishna. So just when we look at our material sun, this is a sun planet. But the sun planet gets that energy from the 12 Adityas. That is why that Aditya Hridayam refers to not just our sun. The Aditya Hridayam refers to the 12 Adityas who are born from Krishna. Or you can say it is actually glorification of Krishna, who is a source of 12 Adityas. Okay. Read. Sudha, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. It is said in the same Vedas, Brahmanyo Devaki Putra, the son of Devaki, Krishna is the Supreme Personality, Narayan Upanishad 4. Then it is said, Eko vai Narayana Asina na Brahma na Ishano na Po na Nagati Samaude ve Vyaka Aparitvi na Nakshinari na Surya. In the beginning of the creation, there was only the Supreme Personality Narayana. There was no Brahma, no Shiva, no water, no fire, no moon, no stars in the sky, no sun. Maha Upanishad 1.1.2. Maha Upanishad, it is also said that Lord Shiva was born from the forehead of the Supreme Lord. Thus the Vedas say that it is the Supreme Lord, the creator of Brahma and Shiva, who is to be worshipped. In the Moksha Dharma, Krishna also said, Prajapatim cha Rudram chapi aham eva srijami vai tohi mam na vijanito mamu maya vimohito. The patriarchs, Shiva and others are created by me, though they do not know that they are created by me because they are deluded by my illusory energy. In the Vara Puran, it is also said, Narayana Paro Devas Tasmad Jatasa Chaturmukha Tasmad Rudro Bhavadeva Sacha Sarva Janatam Data. Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, from whom Shiva was born.
Okay,
Lord,
Sacha Sarva Gyatam. Janatam is not. Gyatam, Gyatam, Gata. Gyatam means one who knows.
Gyata, Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, from whom Shiva was born. Lord Krishna is the source of all generations, and he is called the most efficient cause of everything. He says, because everything is born of me, I am the original source of all. Everything is under me. No one is above me. There is no supreme controller other than Krishna. One who understands Krishna in such a way from a bona fide spiritual master with references from Vedic literature engages all his energy in Krishna consciousness and becomes a truly learned man. In comparison to him, all others who do not know Krishna properly are but fools. Only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man. A Krishna conscious person should not be bewildered by fools. He should avoid all unauthorized commentaries and interpretations on Bhagavad Gita and proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination and firmness.
Okay. 9th verse. Machchitta matkata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Machchitta matkata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. What is the work of the devotee? If you call a person devotee, if you call the Vishnu, it's only work. If you are not interested in this work, then we are not devotees. We are pseudo devotees. Prabhupada says pseudo devotees. Means artificial devotees. So what is the work of the devotee? Machitta matkata prana. His mind is always engaged in me. He only thinks about me. But if we are always thinking about our business, what is the use? Okay, if you are thinking about the business and to utilize the funds of the business in Krishna's service, no problem. 24 hours think of earning money. Then no problem. Think of earning money and donate. But if you don't do that also, better, then what is the use? So better is always get engaged. Keep your mind engaged in Krishna. Machitta. Matkata prana. The life is devoted for me. Matkata prana. They have given the life to me. Machitta matkata prana. Bodhayantaha parasparam. They're always engaged in preaching activity. Bodhayantaha. Parasparam. In this way, they like to discuss about Krishna among themselves. Bodhayantaha parasparam. Then, kathayantascha mam nityam. In this way, when they talk with each other, they love to talk about Krishna, nityam. And they like, when they discuss about Krishna, they experience that tushyanticha. Tushyanti means tushti. They experience satisfaction. Tushyanticha, ramanticha. They experience that bliss. So this is the work of the devotee. When they meet, they should talk about Krishna. If they're not talking about Krishna, or if they're not talking about the things related to Krishna, like you can talk how much funds you have collected for Janmashtami, Hans Rupi Prabhu. What is a Janmashtami collection?
Oh.
Huh? How
Going
much?
on, Mataji.
Very good. So this is the talk. Because now Janmashtami is nearing. Srila Prabhupada told his disciples, go and distribute books. He meant go and sell the books and bring Lakshmi. They went and distributed and came empty-handed. Prabhupada told, where is Lakshmi? Prabhupada, you told, no, go and distribute books. We just went and distributed. So Prabhupada said, you should have brains. That to run the temple, you need Lakshmi. So find out the ways and means to distribute books, by distributing books, by running Govindas, by collecting the funds. Temple has to run. And when the temple runs, everybody is satisfied. So in Sri Sampradaya, we have 12 alvars, 12 alvars. The first 3 alvars are known as Mudal alvars. First 3 are known as Mudal. Mudal means first alvars. Mudal alvars. I told this story to you all? No. Okay. So it was a stormy night. And these 3 alvars, they are not born from the womb. They directly appeared from the flowers. One day after another. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Unknown to each other. In different cities nearby. Somebody is in Mailapur. Somebody is in other place. So in this way, 3 different places they were born, unknown to each other, and they are all Vyuhas of Krishna, great devotees, born. One is born in the lotus flower. In this way, different descriptions are there in the alvars. Pei alvar, Bhutatta alvar, like that, the names are also there. So now what happened was, it was a stormy night. The first alvar, Pei alvar, he saw some small hut. He just went inside and slept. Then behind another person comes, knocks. Is there any place so that I can also come inside? He said there is a place for one man to sleep or one man to lie down. That means there's a place for 2 people to sit. Please come inside. So that second alvar also comes inside. Both are sitting. They heard third alvar knocking. Said, is there any place? They said, yes, there's a place for 2 people to sit. That means 3 people can stand. So 3 of them stood. And Tushyanticha Ramanticha. Naturally, what they will do? 3 are alvars. Alvars means one who is drowned in devotion. They started speaking about Lord. First, they started introducing themselves. I am Das, so and so. So the katha is there. So they started introducing themselves as they are servants of God. And they started describing Lord. Suddenly they found that place to be very tight, as if some 4th person has sneaked inside. Then this first alvar, what he did was, with something, he lit a light. You rub something, then immediately the flame comes. In that flame, they could see Narayana standing with them with wide open ears to hear his glorification. So then all the 3 started. First alvar sang 100 verses in praise of Lord. Second 100 verse, third 100, like this 300 verses were chanted. Why? Where Tushyanticha Ramanticha happened. This person, this Krishna, he likes to hear about himself. Immediately he sneaks inside with wide open eyes. Jagannath. What he did, he also did the same thing. Rohini is telling the story about Bala Leela of Krishna. And here Krishna is so eager to hear his own glorification. So wherever Tushyanticha Ramanticha happens, understand Krishna is also there. Because this Ramanti word comes from Krishna only. Ramante yogino nante satyananda chidatmane. That is Prabhu Ram. What is Ram? Means Ramanti. Ramante yogino nante. Yogis are always Raman. Raman means they are enjoying, they are blissful. The more they hear about Lord, the more they speak about Lord, they are very happy. Okay. Dayasagar Prabhu, read the verse, read the purport. Unmute
It's verse
yourself.
9 from Mataji.
9th.
Yeah.
Machita matkata prana Yanta parasparam Dayantaschanan Nityam Dusyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Purport. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their mind cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their thoughts are solely on the transcendental subjects. Symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the glorious and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish transcendental pleasure from the service itself, and in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God, love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of the seed of the heart of a living entity. They are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe.
Okay,
Out of
from
them,
here. Okay, from here let Kalyani Mohini Mataji read. Kanchan Bhaktan, read. Are you there? Oh. Gadi Prabhu, please read.
Krishna Mataji. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe. And out of them, there are few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service, one minute, Mataji. 1 minute. Excuse me, Mataji, 1
Lot of
minute.
disturbances there, Prabhu. Lot of disturbances.
I'm in
there.
office, Mataji. Office.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
Vishnu Gaur Prabhu, you read.
This devotional service is just like a seed, and if it is sown in the heart of a living entity, and if he goes on hearing and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies, just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotion service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahma Jyotir, the effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky, also, that plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavan, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as a plant grows fruits and flowers, That plant of devotion service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of devotion service is fully described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 19. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God. Then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord. Just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees, as stated in the Bhagavatam itself, 12.13.18. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amlam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. In this narration, there is nothing about material activities, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is fully described. Thus, the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literatures, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So Krishna says, such type of devotees, what they do? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam tadavi buddhi yokam tam yena mamu kayanti te. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam tadavi buddhi yokam tam yena mamu kayanti te. They're always discussing about me. Their mind is always engaged with me. They are always discussing about me, reaching. So they're always yukta, they're always connected. And how they are performing the devotional service, priti purvakam, with complete love. Then Krishna says, Dadami buddhi yokam tam, I will give them the buddhi. I give them the buddhi. And in this way, they're just connected to me. They Dadami buddhi yokam tam, yena ma upayandite. So they know how to come back to me. So in this way, that buddhi is given by Krishna only. Seeing this qualification, that they are determined to serve Krishna. Kalyani Mohini Mataji.
Mataji, I have closed my office cabin door, so I can read now. The disturbance is not there now.
Okay, read.
Hare Krishna. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yagam tam yena mapuyanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Purport. In this verse, the word Buddhi Yogam is very significant. We may remember that in the second chapter, the Lord instructing Arjuna said that he had spoken to him of many things and that he would instruct him in the way of Buddhi Yoga. Now, Buddhi Yoga is explained. Buddhi Yoga itself is action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence. Yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. When one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and takes fully to Krishna consciousness in devotional service, his action is called Buddhi Yoga. In other words, Buddhi Yoga is the process by which one gets out of the entanglement of this material world. The ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. People do not know this. Therefore, the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. One should know that the goal is Krishna, and when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed, and the ultimate goal is achieved. When a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in Karma Yoga. When he knows that the goal is Krishna but he takes pleasure in mental speculation to understand Krishna, he is acting in Jnana Yoga. When he knows the goal and seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, he is acting in Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, which is complete yoga. The complete yoga is the highest perfectional stage of life. A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to the spiritual organization, but if he is still not intelligent enough to make the progress, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. The qualification is that a person always engage himself in Krishna consciousness and with love and devotion, render all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be with love. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self-realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain him. Hare Krishna.
To such people who are, to such unalloyed devotees, what Krishna does, because he's always connected, Krishna says, I give that mercy, anukampa, tesham evanukampartam, am ajnanacham tamaha, nashayam yatma bhavasto, jnanadipena bhashvata. So Krishna says, tesham evanukampartam, aham ajnanajam tamaha, nashayam yatma bhavasto, jnanadipena bhasvata. To such people who are always attached to me, such devotees, I give a special mercy by which they can come out of the ignorance. Because for a long time, even a devotee was in ignorance only. Because of spiritual master's mercy, now he is brought to light. Krishna says, I destroy Nashayami Atma Bhava within their heart. I destroy the ignorance because I'm situated. With what I destroy the darkness with the lamp of light, Jnana Deepena Bhasvata, that is glowing light. Okay, Kalyani Moini Mataji, read. Unmute. Unmute your phone.
जी माता जी
Read.
तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अजनानजं तमः अज्ञानजं तमः नाश्यामि आत्मा भावस्थो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Lord Chaitanya was in Banaras, promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, thousands of people were following him. Prakashananda Saraswati, a very influential and learned scholar in Banaras at that time, derided Lord Chaitanya for being a sentimentalist. Sometimes Mayavadi philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. Actually, that is not the fact. There are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of the literatures or of his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. The Mayavadi philosophers think that without discriminating, one cannot have pure knowledge. For them, this answer is given by the Supreme Lord. Those who are engaged in pure devotional service, even though they be without sufficient education, and even without sufficient knowledge of the Vedic principles, are still helped by the Supreme God, as stated in this verse. The Lord tells Arjuna that basically there is no possibility of understanding the Supreme Truth, the Absolute Truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, simply by speculating. For the Supreme Truth is so great that it is not possible to understand Him or to achieve Him simply by making a mental effort. Man can go on speculating for several million of years, and if he is not devoted, if he is not a lover of Supreme Truth, he will never understand Krishna or the Supreme Truth. Only by devotional service is the supreme truth, Krishna pleased, and by his inconceivable energy, he can reveal himself to the heart of the pure devotee. The pure devotee always has Krishna within his heart, and with the presence of Krishna, who is just like the sun, the darkness of ignorance is at once dissipated. This is the special mercy rendered to the pure devotee by Krishna. Due to the contamination of material association, through many, many millions of births, one's heart is always covered with the dust of materialism. But when one engages in devotional service and constantly chants Hare Krishna, the dust quickly clears and one is elevated to the platform of pure knowledge. The ultimate goal, Vishnu, can be attained only by the chant and by devotional service, and not by mental speculation or argument. The pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. He'd not be anxious, because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. This is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. By studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and engage himself in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma.
Over. Today till here only. So try to memorize these 4 shlokas, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can memorize before the exam. These are very important verses. These are the Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. We'll stop here. So what is told in Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita? I am the one who is the source of everything. And then what is the second one? You said the devotees like to speak about me. Then what is the third one? I gave the special knowledge. And what is the fourth one? I dispel all the ignorance. So what is the purpose of studying Bhagavad Gita? To remove our ignorance. Okay.
प्रपद्यते वासुदेवं सर्वं इति सर्वमात्मा
Very good. Wonderful. Stop here. It's a long class. We'll stop here. Any questions? You can message me. I'll answer. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo